Hi everyone, welcome back to this YouTube channel where we dive deep into all kinds of topics related to narcissistic relationships and narcissism in general. Today, we're going to tackle a really interesting question that I've received a lot from people: do narcissists know they hurt you? Before we get into it, don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe to join us on this journey. Now, let's get to the question at hand: do narcissists know that they hurt you? This is a question I get all the time. Whether it's through emails, clients, or even in group sessions, people want to know, does the narcissist even realize they've hurt me? Here's something I always ask first: what's your motivation for wanting to know this? Are you trying to figure out if they're intentionally trying to hurt you, or are you wondering if they're so clueless that they don't even realize the harm they've caused? Now, interestingly enough, the answer is a bit of both. In some cases, yes, they intentionally set out to hurt you, often out of a sense of punishment. Maybe you said something that upset them, or you didn't give them the attention or validation they expected. In moments like these, their intent is often punitive. They lash out because they feel slighted, and they want to make you feel as bad as they do. But here's the thing: for many narcissists, they don't set out to hurt you at all. They just don't care enough to think about how their actions might affect you. They say and do what they want, without any regard for the consequences. Why? Because they lack empathy. They don't consider other people's feelings, and they don't pause to reflect on how their words or actions might impact someone else. Their impulsivity is another big factor. They will often act first and think later, using their impulsivity as an excuse. They'll say things, do things, or take things without thinking about how it might hurt you. This impulsivity can get them into trouble. They might say things that are hurtful, make dismissive remarks, lie, or even act out in more destructive ways, such as infidelity, violence, or reckless behavior. Narcissists tend to act first and apologize later, but sadly, because most people let them off the hook, they keep repeating the same patterns of behavior. The third piece is entitlement. Narcissists don't believe the rules apply to them. They are hypocritical, holding others accountable for their actions but not following the rules themselves. If you make a comment they don't like, they might think it's unacceptable, but if they make the same mistake, they'll excuse it with a simple, "I'm only human." Their arrogance and contempt are the fourth factors. They feel above the demands of intimacy and the emotional work that goes into human relationships. They want the benefits of relationships, attention, validation, and resources. But they avoid the messy, emotional parts of connecting with others. Now, when we break down these subcomponents of narcissism, you can see how all of this together means they may not set out to hurt you, they just don't care enough to think about how their behavior will affect you. And after they hurt you, they don't care that they did. This can leave you feeling confused. If they didn't mean to hurt you, maybe it isn't such a big deal. But if you're in a relationship where someone is intentionally trying to hurt you, that's a different story. It crosses into a more sadistic realm, where someone gets satisfaction from harming you. It's easier to understand that intentional harm is not okay, and it may be time to get out. However, in many narcissistic relationships, the reason for their hurtful behavior is often carelessness and impulsivity. Does it really matter if it was intentional? For example, imagine someone accidentally slaps you across the face while they're doing something, and it hurts. You might interpret it differently if it was an accident, but if it keeps happening, even if it's accidental, how long will you put up with that? In healthy relationships, when people say hurtful things, they catch themselves, take responsibility, apologize, and make efforts not to repeat the behavior. But with narcissists, even if they realize they've hurt you, they likely won't take responsibility. And if they do, it's probably because someone else pointed it out. They're more likely to blame you, someone else, or even a situation. Even if you step up and call out their hurtful behavior, they're unlikely to apologize or change. Narcissists may issue empty apologies, but it's rare for them to make lasting changes. Their lack of empathy, entitlement, arrogance, and impulsivity means the chances of them changing are close to zero. So, let's return to the original question. Do they know they hurt you? In all likelihood, they probably do, but they don't want to own it. Their response is usually gaslighting or deflection because taking responsibility makes them feel shameful. They may see the hurt on your face, but they won't address it. They may gaslight you, deflect, or rationalize their actions. And while they may apologize, it's usually hollow, and the behavior is unlikely to change. The painful truth is that you'll likely find yourself trapped on this emotional carousel, being hurt over and over again. The real question for you is, what are you going to do about it? Will you accept the hurt because they didn't mean to cause it, or will you recognize that the harm is still real, regardless of intention? Narcissists aren't transparent about their motivations, and it's often difficult to understand where they're coming from. They're quick to make assumptions about others, but it's a risky game to play. So, whether they meant to hurt you or not, the fact remains that they did, and they won't care enough to make things right. The key here is not whether they intended the harm, but how they refuse to take responsibility for it. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, this is something you need to consider carefully. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to really think about what you need in your relationships and whether this is something you want to continue accepting. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and join us for more content on understanding and navigating narcissistic relationships. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.